what? He said what?
Everybody trying to be a victim. Like, what's this girl, Meghan Markle? Ah, seemed like a nice lady, just complaining. I was like, didn't she hit the light skin lottery and still going on complaining? Acting all dumb like she don't know nothing. Going on Oprah, I didn't know. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. You didn't Google these motherfuckers?
It started like any other comedy special. Lights dimmed, the crowd buzzing with anticipation, and Chris Rock stepping confidently into the spotlight. But what unfolded next wasn't just stand-up. It was a full-on public roasting, and Meghan Markle was front and center. The jokes were sharp, the delivery brutal, and every punchline hit like a truth bomb. What was supposed to be comedy quickly turned into a cultural moment, a no-filter takedown that left audiences laughing, gasping, and realizing that even Hollywood's most protected personalities aren't off-limits.
Biggest addiction in America is attention. We are addicted to attention. Easiest way to get attention is to be a victim.
There was no careful setup, no polite easing into it. Chris Rock wasted zero time. Within the first minute, he went straight for the jugular. No hesitation, no soft touches. In under 60 seconds, he flipped the entire narrative on its.
No, pull that video up, because it's one of my favorites.
They're so racist, they're so racist. Some of the she went through was not racism. It was just some in-law shit. Because she's complaining. I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about? No, they're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby's gonna be. I'm like, that's not racist. Because even black people want to know.
And here's what made it so brutal. It wasn't even his sharpest joke. The real sting came in the silence after every punchline, that brief pause when the laughter faded and the audience realized he wasn't exaggerating. He was just saying what everyone had already started to think.
What the fuck is she talking about? She didn't know. It's the royal family. They're the original racists.
For years, Meghan sold the image of the misunderstood outsider, the woman who never quite fit into the royal mold. But in one ruthless set, Chris Rock shattered that illusion. He stripped away the victim narrative and exposed something far less flattering: entitlement, calculation, and a craving for the same spotlight she claimed to hate. And that moment, that was just the first hit. What followed wasn't mere mockery. It was a full-scale cultural reckoning, and it all started the second Rock declared that Meghan Markle was no modern-day Cinderella.
Posting up pathetic pictures. This is me eating sushi. Like me. This is me 25 years ago when I was hot. Like me. Oh, it's fucking sad.
The thing about Meghan's public image is that it was built on one fragile illusion, that she was the unsuspecting outsider, an innocent Hollywood actress who stumbled into royal life like a modern-day fairytale princess, only to find herself crushed by its cold traditions. It's a beautiful narrative, polished and tragic, the kind people love to believe. But all it takes is one person to call it what it really is, a carefully crafted piece of fiction.
It's the husband formerly known as Prince. Any luck getting a job?
Oh, they had me driving for Uber Eats, but there were too many damn rules. Don't touch the food, don't taste the food, drive on the road.
I'm sorry, Rowdy Reddy.
Chris Rock didn't ease into it. He torched it. No hesitation, no polite framing. He compared Meghan's claim of royal ignorance to an NBA player saying they'd never heard of basketball, and the audience erupted. It was brutal, hilarious, and devastatingly true. In that moment, the illusion shattered. Because let's be real, Meghan didn't just wander into royalty by accident. She studied it, pursued it, and dated a prince for years before saying, "I had no idea." She walked into that palace not blind, but fully aware, with her eyes wide open and her smile perfectly rehearsed for the cameras.
That she was hunting for a man in England. She wanted wealth and she wanted fame, and she targeted Harry.
And with that one set, Chris Rock did what no royal biographer or tabloid ever could. He gave the audience permission to say out loud what they'd secretly thought for years. That's the real genius of a punchline like his. It doesn't just make you laugh, it peels the mask off, slowly, painfully, until everyone in the room realizes they've been watching an act. The illusion of poor Meghan shattered right there on stage. She didn't even have to be in the room. The damage was already done. From that night forward, every late-night host, every comedian, every meme account had fresh material. The sympathy turned to satire, and the PR machine didn't stand a chance. Because a perfect roast doesn't just hit, It explodes, leaving the audience laughing while the subject's image burns quietly in the background.
What is she talking about? I didn't know. That's like marrying into the Budweiser family and going, they drink a lot.
Within hours of Chris Rock's special hitting the internet, his Meghan takedown became a viral wildfire. TikTok edits on repeat, Twitter threads dissecting every line, YouTube breakdowns pausing on audience members crying with laughter. The internet couldn't get enough. And then came the comedians, the ones who'd held back until now. In Britain especially, the tone shifted overnight. The gloves were off. Meghan and Harry weren't being treated as misunderstood royals anymore. They were comedy gold. Every punchline hit the same nerve, the irony of preaching purpose while chasing paychecks. "Babe," one comic joked, "time to do our daily $250,000 interview about privacy." It was open season, and the couple had officially become everyone's favorite contradiction.
Time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
The Duchess of Sussex tried to soften her image, posting a tender photo of herself cuddling her daughter, even including a never-before-seen picture from her birth. But instead of winning sympathy, it only fueled more mockery. The reaction wasn't warm, it was surgical. Royal commentators tore through it with dry, cutting precision, the kind of disdain only lifelong royal watchers can deliver. And across the Atlantic, late-night hosts joined the feeding frenzy. They didn't hold back either, taking aim at the glossy PR moves, the endless brand deals, and the performative self-pity that had become their trademark. What was meant to look maternal and relatable only reminded everyone how choreographed it all had become.
This is sweet. Meghan Markle said she has a finger they can use if they need it.
And then came the infamous "we want privacy" line, delivered with such irony and timing that it landed like a hammer. You could almost hear the palace itself laughing, the words echoing as if mocking the very claim, a reminder that public declarations and private desires don't always match.
Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving wife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy!
5 minutes later.
Who's filming this?
The worst part. The joke began to echo everywhere. Comedians who'd never shared a stage were hitting the same punchlines, word for word. That's not coincidence. That's the moment a narrative flatlines. By week's end, Meghan wasn't the misunderstood Duchess or the ex-Hollywood actress anymore. She had become the comedy world's newest running gag, a walking headline whose contradictions were too glaring, too obvious, and too hilarious for anyone to ignore. The roast had gone global, spreading across screens and stages alike, and in the end, what Meghan really gained was a rich, famous husband.
Meghan Markle, the only thing she found was a rich, famous husband.
The nearest thing Meghan Markle ever had to a billion-dollar idea was marrying a prince.
If Chris Rock lit the match, the internet poured gasoline on it within days. Meghan's most awkward moments weren't just mocked anymore, they became viral currency. TikTok creators stitched together her interviews with rolling eye reactions, sarcastic voiceovers, and laugh tracks ripped straight from sitcoms. Every clip, every reaction, amplified the same narrative. Meghan's carefully curated image was unraveling in real time, and there was no way to pause the firestorm.
The best way to have a snack is to take the snack out of one bag and then move them into another bag and then label this new bag, even though this bag already has a label on it. Tap water!
And then there was that infamous snack rebagging scene from her Netflix show, Meme Gold Instantly. Celebrity name drops were edited into compilations cheekily titled Meghan's Imaginary Friends. Twitter went savage, pairing screenshots of her contradictions with staged paparazzi shots. These weren't just shares, they were weapons. Captions were so cutting, so self-explanatory, that they didn't even need punchlines. The humor and the critique were baked right in, spreading like wildfire across the internet.
My name is Meghan Sussex now. Call me Meghan Markle one more time, Mindy Kaling.
YouTube creators tore her interviews apart, frame by frame, spotlighting every rehearsed expression, every calculated pause, every line that sounded like PR copy gone horribly wrong. Suddenly, Meghan wasn't a duchess sharing her truth. She was a character in an ongoing soap opera. And the audience? Sympathy evaporated, replaced entirely by unfiltered mockery. Oh my, the transformation was ruthless, and the internet was having a field day.
That hat. Oh, God. He's so hot. Look at him. Isn't Prince Harry? She bagged a fox.
The most dangerous part. Memes move faster than any damage control. By the time Meghan's team could craft a rebuttal, the next viral joke had already taken its place. The internet wasn't just laughing at her. It was systematically erasing whatever dignity remained. If the internet was a wildfire, late-night TV was the flamethrower. Night after night, Meghan and Harry became the go-to joke, the easy laugh that required no setup, no context. Just punchline after punchline, repeating until the narrative was set in stone.
ABC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits, which will be set in Los Angeles. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
Meghan, you have been working so hard. Oh my God. You're probably the hardest worker in the world. I don't know anybody that's worked as hard as you. I don't know, I'm just doing my best.
It's the biggest piece of dog
Jimmy Fallon didn't hold back, zooming in on the absurd details, like Meghan claiming they were already married before the royal wedding even happened. The joke wasn't just funny. It highlighted how her narrative sometimes clashed with reality, making the tiny inconsistencies feel both ridiculous and telling.
Revelation was that Meghan said that she and Harry actually got married 3 days before the royal wedding. Great, now I feel like a fool for waking up at 5 a.m. to watch two married people get married.
Harry's bizarre oversharing in his memoir, coupled with their tendency to turn everyday inconveniences into full-blown trauma, didn't go unnoticed. Even Stephen Colbert, hardly a master of cruelty, delivered lines that made the audience simultaneously wince and laugh, capturing that perfect mix of discomfort and comedy that exposed just how performative their grievances had become.
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H. What could it be? A mystery for the ages!
The real power of late-night mockery lies in repetition. The same jokes get recycled by so many hosts, night after night, that they stop landing as mere comedy and start sinking in as undeniable truth. What once seemed like a playful jab becomes a collective understanding. This is who they really are, contradictions and all.
If I'm going to succeed in America, I need a lifestyle brand of creams and supplements. Gwyneth Paltrow has Goop, Kourtney Kardashian has Poosh, and Jamie Lee Curtis has Poogert. Now I've got mine, Meg Goo, celebrating the sexy earth goddess in all of us.
Within weeks, Meghan wasn't just a controversial figure. She had become a permanent fixture in the late-night playbook, a recurring character in an ongoing roast that no PR spin could undo. Comedians on club stages stopped bothering with subtlety or clever winks. They went straight for her jugular. Simon Brodkin, for instance, slammed the Netflix documentary as a 6-hour infomercial in self-pity, ripping apart its staged sincerity, melodramatic music cues, and carefully orchestrated emotional beats with merciless precision.
Careful, Harry. I spilled some essential oils on the floor.
He tore into the notion that bowing to the Queen or curtsying could be considered traumatic, likening it to whining about having to remove your shoes at the airport. Other comedians pounced on Harry's own words from Spare, turning his cringeworthy oversharing into punchlines that made him seem out of touch, pampered, and laughably insulated from the real world.
I don't know, Megs. I've tried every career there is. Prince, Hitler, maybe I'm just not qualified for anything.
That's not true. You're a great husband, a good-hearted man. You've got big, muscular teeth.
Thanks, Meg. And I guess now I'm qualified for this. Unemployment!
But Meghan was always the bigger target. Her polished sound bites became Oscar speeches for an audience of one in comedy clubs, where there's no network, no censor, and no polite chuckle. Just raw, loud, often merciless laughter. Every brutal one-liner went online instantly, giving the public fresh ammo to keep the ridicule alive. By the time these sets went viral, Meghan's carefully crafted image wasn't just bruised. It was shredded, and nobody in those crowds was asking for it to be stitched back together.
H was H, H was accepted. H has been as H is, and H called me. In with H, and H was out, and with H.
When South Park got them, there was no coming back. The Worldwide Privacy Tour episode didn't just poke fun. It cemented Meghan and Harry's hypocrisy permanently into pop culture. The animated couple, screaming for privacy through megaphones while flying on a private jet, delivered a visual gag so sharp it needed no words. The satire cut deep because it was precise, every contradiction they'd ever made distilled into a 20-minute roast that replayed endlessly online.
We want privacy! It's so quiet and empty here. If we moved here, then people would think we're really serious about wanting to be normal. It does seem perfect, doesn't it?
Other shows piled on relentlessly. Family Guy boiled them down to a 2-second throwaway line about getting millions for doing nothing, and somehow, that tiny jab landed harder than any full monologue ever could.
Your millions from Netflix for no one knows what.
Put it with the rest of them.
Animated satire works differently. Once you become a caricature, that exaggerated version sticks in the public's mind far longer than reality ever could. The damage wasn't just comedic, it was psychological. When audiences are laughing at your cartoon self more than the real you, your control over your image vanishes. By the time the credits rolled on South Park, Meghan wasn't just mocked. She was immortalized as the symbol of performative victimhood, and no press statement or exclusive interview could ever erase that drawing from the cultural imagination.
Sorority girl, actress, influencer, victim.
Yeah, that's totally me! What matters is what we have on the inside.
Bill Maher didn't rely on props, skits, or cartoons. He came armed with something far more dangerous, cold, unflinching logic.
That you don't call another human being Your Highness?
While other comedians targeted Meghan's quirks or contradictions, Maher went deeper, dissecting the entire strategy. He exposed the hypocrisy, wanting all the perks of royalty without the responsibilities, the fame without the scrutiny, the spotlight without the heat.
Woman who destroyed her in-laws' family, whose own family doesn't like her, whose the in-laws obviously don't like her, the public doesn't like her. She's stuck because she was an actress who became a real princess, who wants to be an actress again, but has to continue to pretend to be a real princess.
It wasn't a scandal. It was a business model built to collapse. Maher contrasted their endless grievances with the stoic silence of Queen Elizabeth, a woman who endured decades of relentless press without turning it into a Netflix special. The comparison was devastating. One side exuded dignity, the other desperation. Complaining about your hard life while living in extreme privilege? It's absurd. The punch landed hardest when he said, "The world isn't obligated to play along with your personal drama." No shouting, no cheap shots, just a blunt truth that stripped away the victim narrative and revealed the entitlement beneath. By the end, Maher hadn't just roasted Meghan, he'd diagnosed her entire brand. The prognosis: terminal, a self-inflicted implosion wrapped in a royal title and sold as tragedy.
Here today, Suits actress Meghan Markle married some unemployed dude who still lives with his grandma.
By now, Meghan's image wasn't just bruised, it was pulverized, scattered across 1,000 memes, punchlines, and viral one-liners echoing around the globe. What began as a single Chris Rock joke had exploded into a cultural verdict, delivered not in courtrooms, but on comedy stages, TikTok feeds, and late-night sets. The most brutal part: the laughter outlasted every news cycle. Even when Meghan and Harry pivoted to charity work or polished interviews, the public heard every word through the filter of those jokes. Every statement sounded scripted, every photo op staged. The roast had become the lens, and once you become shorthand for performative hypocrisy in pop culture, your narrative is no longer yours to control.
Look at that face, she's not happy.
Oh, yeah, it's so hard to be pretty. So your life is so hard, you're a fucking princess.
Politicians survive scandals. Celebrities recover with polished PR strategies. Masters of reinvention can bounce back. But when your brand is distilled into a smirk and a punchline, there's no rebuilding. You can only live under it. The modern court jesters had spoken, and their verdict was permanent. Meghan's narrative wasn't stolen by the press, the palace, or even Chris Rock. It was taken by the world's laughter. And laughter, it never gives anything back. That's the brutal truth of this saga. It's never been about a single joke or one comedy special. Chris Rock may have lit the spark, but the firestorm spread far beyond stand-up stages. Every contradiction, every overplayed grievance, every desperate bid for relevance, now, all of it lives in permanent public record, written in punchlines.
Prove that you're pretty enough. You prove that you're smart enough. You prove that you're a good wife or a good friend.
Meghan Markle's sitting here talking about, like, yeah, I gotta prove that I'm pretty. And while she's a pretty woman sitting across from a bratwurst?
Yes! But here's where it gets even messier. Meghan's drama isn't just fracturing public opinion, it's torching the very relationships that once gave her and Harry credibility they can't simply buy back. Take Sensibility, the charity Harry once called his life's work. If you thought the comedy world was brutal, wait until you hear what happened when Sophie Chundaka, one of the most respected figures connected to that mission, finally snapped. This wasn't a mild disagreement, it was a slam that echoed worldwide, leaving Harry visibly fuming. The full breakdown. You can catch it in my last video on Monarchy Exposed, where the real royal stories get told, unfiltered.